Morning, guys. How's my volume? Good? Okay. Yeah, we'll see how today goes. So just to repeat what I just said in text, NQ very clear uptrend. Sellers are getting absorbed on every pullback, but the Russell is sideways, just oscillating between our PVC high and low. We continue to fail to get back over our previous day value low at 41.5, very clearly a rejection point from this morning. And then again, just off this last attempt, we are back down to our value low right now on the day for Russell. And NQ is testing our most recent little pocket of buyers here at this 55. So far, holding and absorbing. There is not going to be a great shorting opportunity until we see these buyers at the most recent highs start to lose steam, right? So we're seeing some absorption taking place short term, right? But it's not giving you a great short entry. All we're seeing is that there's some sellers that are very clearly here, but there are buyers that are positioned here, right? So all this is a pullback right now. What we need to see for anything downside wise for rotations is really a breach of this 30 area, or this is just going to be a pullback and then a recovery and then continuation higher. Again, RTY is just oscillating. We need to see a breach and ideally a hold below this if we were going to continue down. ES again is just rotating sideways between our pivots, PVZ
At
high
10:30
and
a.m.
our
Eastern Time,
low
we get
on
our
the day.
weekly EIA data. Crude oil inventories forecast a draw of 1.43 million on the prior draw of 1.63 million, with a range of a build of 2 million to a draw of 2 million. Gasoline inventories forecast a build of 0.2 million on the prior build of 0.069 million. Distiller inventories forecast a draw of 1.192 million on the prior build of 0.125 million. Crude Cushing inventories prior a draw of 1.979 million. Bear in mind that yesterday's US API crude oil stock change came in at a draw of 4.399 million.
Again, we really need to see sellers get below this area and start to really show some willingness to push this below. So it's like this 234 to like 225 area is really what I need to see us breach and then start to show some momentum below, or this is just going to be a pullback for buy side. And again, we'll just be looking for that recovery of 255 for upside. We're looking for a push below this 230 and start sellers starting to gain momentum for a push back down into that 206 195 area. So this is a big test here to see if this absorption is going to continue happening at this higher low. Russell starting to lead down. It's a good sign. What's up, Wayne? So far, buyers willing to take in. No look below. Just more absorption. It's like 719 contracts have been absorbed down there. Watching our 255 to see if we're going to get any continuation. Up, Tom. You did buy this 225, 234 area. This is a great first risk off until we see acceptance over 255. Break the downtrend. Need to see Russell get back into this range as well. ES still just doing the rotation, no change.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Do I sound okay or am I quiet?
You're okay.
Just wondering if I need to move my mic closer.
You have got a slight echo.
1 minute remaining. I'll lead with EIA crude oil inventories.
Slight echo. Okay.
I don't know if it's really an echo, but it kind of sounds like you're far away, I guess is the best way to put it. Like a reverb.
How's that? Is that a little better?
That's much better.
Okay, so I need to be closer to the mic. Yeah, if you guys want, I'll be on Top Step TV in an hour and a half hosting their Power Players segment, so it should be a good time.
Yeah, definitely link it.
Eat the mic.
Oh boy.
No, it's not gonna do that. But yeah, I'll make a post in the news channel. Let everyone know. You feeling a little better though, or still
Yeah,
kind of?
I mean, fever's come down, so I'm out of bed. It
Did
is
you
what
get
it is.
did you get the COVID?
I don't know what
A
I.
draw of 4 spot
We'll see.
471
I
million. A
didn't take
draw
a
of 4 spot
test.
471 million, lower than the expected draw of 1 spot 43 million. Distillate inventory is a draw of 2 spot 227 million. A draw of 2 spot 227 million. Gasoline, a draw of 1 spot 538 million. A draw of 1 spot 538 million, lower than the expected build of 0 spot 2 million. Crude Cushing inventories, a build of 0 spot 166 million. A build of 0 spot 116 million.
I just got over COVID. I had it all last week, so it's going around again.
Yeah, not a good sign.
Been getting a lot of requests for Nvidia. I don't know if you've covered that yet.
I just posted some targets that I already had. I don't know if they'll. I mean, it just looks like we're in a gap. It's a big retest here, guys. We're now back in value on NQ. We're watching to see if this will offer for a continuation down. We hit our 55 PT and immediately sold. Now testing
We
our
have put
lows.
out the US EIA weekly petroleum status report on the feed for all those interested.
Yeah, I've been sick, Wayne. I've been out.
Fitch ratings say US banks have limited credit profile impact from the refreshed Basel III rules.
I'll let you take it from here. I'm gonna go get ready and make sure I'm all pretty for my TV segment.
All right, man.
Gotta hit up the makeup room, get
True.
that powder cheek look.
Yeah, it's nasty, man. Sorry to hear you lost someone.
We have posted the full Fitch ratings piece on the feed for all those interested.
Russell is not convincing yet that we want to break down. Looks like we're gonna have to do one more test to me. We'll see what happens, but I would have wanted to see a much stronger rejection at our value low so far, and we're not seeing it. And there's definitely still someone absorbing here, but there's a strong likelihood that we need to rotate another range here, like fill this LVN with Russell not showing weakness. I'm a bit worried about that. Mm-mm. Now, one good thing that came out of this was a nice detox from screens. Just had like an audiobook on the entire time, just in and out of sleep. I don't know about refreshed, but it was okay. When I get sick, I just like am dead. Like I actually my body goes into like full hibernation. I just sleep for like 15 hours. Wake up and then sleep again until I'm not dead. Like there's no in between. Yeah, actually, I'm either like fully alive or I'm bedridden. And the only time I wake up is to like get fluids in me. What's up, Roy? Sound better than I did yesterday. RTY is almost done filling this gap. Or LVN, that's a better way to phrase it. NQ still in our downtrend, just rotating between our two zones. Russell is now fully filled the LVN. This is where we watch to see what our reaction is going to be as we retest POC. You want to see a lower high if we want downside action, right? We want to see Russell not have to do the full oscillation and sellers kind of shifting that value down. Ideally, we don't need to retest previous day value low again, right? Up at 41.5, but we'll see. Again, it's not convincing until we see either us push above this and start to hold it as supportive, or we rotate below our node and start to show this value low as resistant. We haven't seen either one, so it just is an oscillation. And the market isn't going anywhere in an oscillation. Nowhere fast, at least. I don't get sick much, but when I do, oh boy, yeah, I feel that.
Brent oil futures little changed, down 1.29% after the EIA report.
And just another rotation on NQ into our resistance above Russell into a high of our range. We're watching to see if sell side can actually do something here, or if we're just going to continue to oscillate. We want to see some acceleration in either direction. We want to see either like buyers really start to try on Russell, get us over our value high and start to build, or we want to see another full rotation down here with NQ leading us with lower highs, right? So Russell can continue to do its little oscillation that it's doing between our two pivots. But what we're seeing is NQ sellers starting to step in if this is going to hold, right? So we're watching to see if this is now the case, if we're going to continue this selling, right, with these lower highs. Oops. Well, Russell is doing its oscillation. And if that's the case, then we can then start to look for the secondary move down. But again, like we're just waiting. There's nothing here while we still have divergence. Why is this not deleting? There you go. CPOC is shifted to our level. Just stuck right now. Later, Wayne. Good to hear from you. clean up the C chart, ES chart for you guys. I was just highlighting the range, but you can get more out of this. EP pivot is 93.25. Our 30-second opening range high. But above that is just PVZ high, 87s. Another perfect rejection off our 48s. Russell's still undecided up into our highs. There's not a ton to go off of here in this NQ low, which is why I've deleted this bottom line on our box. We're just kind of waiting to see what happens. All we know is that there's a seller that is located here at this 48 to 55. We either make it supportive again for upside, or sell side just sits here and we chop. I'm not convinced of either direction until I see a pretty clear sell side below this 230 and start to hold this lower edge. If we can start to see that, then we have downside potential back into our buyer that is at this 2200. But again, like, this is just kind of indecision right now down here, and so I don't want to have it labeled. Still rejecting POC from previous 15-minute candle, no change. Russell still just holding our highs. Yes, bottom of range. I just have like bone broth. Yeah, bone. More nutrition. Bone broth hot chocolate is crazy. Retesting our low here in NQ into our previous day value high. Russell still holding our highs. It's a good area to risk off if you're in a short. Other than that, there's no trade. We're back down to our buyer now. This is a very important area. Are we going to be able to find support here at this like 195, 206 and be able to continue to hold? Or do we push below? Why does this area matter? Well, this was our value for the first 30 minutes of the day, right? Where we opened. We want to see if this buyer is still present here in this imbalance that we created on this upside, right? So this is this imbalance that I'm talking about, here to here. We're filling that. I'm watching to see how we react into this LVN. If we are able to find buyers here that want to bring us back up, awesome, right? If we don't, and we start to rotate below, we have very clear distribution of where we're headed. And we're going to rotate through this range, head down into this previous day POC. But so far, immediate bounce off of our zone. That's what we were looking for. Retest of 206. Yes, retesting our value. Seeing if we can get back into our day open or if this is going to hold this resistance, but held our lower pivot, our POC before the shift. NQ back to POC off of our retest of our buyer here. Now watching to see if we can get back over or if this is going to hold another lower high. Retesting our 38, which is POC from previous 15-minute candle. Understand that. You can see that same imbalance that was created on the way up as well on our FVG, on our 15-minute candle, sorry. Created an imbalance here as well. Just very thin area. Immediately come back in, find that buy side, and then push off of it. Another rejection of our 38s, POC from previous 15-minute candle. Just rotating between our two pivots. Russell still sideways up at our highs. I do that sometimes where like I'm clicking onto another monitor and I'm so used to like when in a game when you're doing like an alt tab to switch screens, you like click on the screen to get out of that tab, get out of that app. And so I'm so used to doing that that when I like switch over to another monitor, even just not even in a program that's in full screen, I'll still click, and sometimes I'll click on my DOM. It's such a bad habit. Just muscle memory though. Most of the times there's no issue, but it is something that happens. Yeah, exactly. Let me grab a sweater. Freezing. All right. What's up, Dubs? I'm all right. Slight fever. Better than before. I'm out of bed. It's a start. This market is not inspiring me. That's for sure. Yeah, half of them. Got a lot of Polish. A lot of Polish people here. I wonder how the vodka shot will react with my Mucinex. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think all it could do is hurt. Buddy, that's your like dream scenario. Nah, man, I'm pulling a Rory. You'll never see me on a video game again. The one time Sven is lurking. 0 kills and 21 deaths is impressive, bro. Like, you gotta try to do that. 30 seconds until new 15s, guys. Hopefully something shifts. It's just PC right now. It's still in beta. It's not even like a released game. You can play it on console in 7 years when they release Orange Box 2. New 15s have opened. So far, POC is still holding as resistance on NQ. Russell is still holding our high. It's up to sellers here. They've got full control if they want it. We just need to see acceleration. If they get stuffed here again, it's just not a great sign. Yeah, man, it needs to give up. This is not a market I want to be trading. It looks very established for only being beta. Yeah, it's a it definitely feels good. Just needs more characters. They're doing a fantastic job. Valve, the guys who did like Half-Life, Portal, Dota, Team Fortress. They don't make third games, bro. You'll get a Team Fortress on the Steam VR display, and it'll be an episode A. That's what they'll call it, or something. They don't do threes. They make a little niche game that's technically the third, but it's only for VR. That's what they do. So you get Half-Life Alex. Yeah. Can we get out of this area? What is this? Like, what a random area to have a battle at. Too many people want this Russell to fail now. It's only going to go up. But like in all seriousness, like we need to see the ability for this to build over 242 on RTY for anything actionable. There's so much volume that's been exchanged here. Nah, you gotta wait for a directional break. What'd you guys talk about in Monday class? Anyone remember? Oh yeah. Did a decent amount of you guys read it? That's a quick read. You guys should. It's very good. Or it's you can listen to the full book in a day, easy. I think that's a good book to get started in kind of like analyzing yourself and being like, oh yeah, there are some very clear things that I could change pretty easily, or I could start to put into my rotation, like my normal uh like living uh what's the word? I don't want to say rotation. Rotation sounds weird. Like my normal habit cycle. I think like one of the easiest things and one of the things that you can implement the quickest is habit stacking. I think like that's something that's really great in that book. Where like if you're trying to do something new and like that's for the betterment of yourself is like find I think something that they talk about that's really interesting is like what's the frequency at which you need to do this thing, right? Like how much does it come up in a day, right? Like if you are looking to start something new that's healthy or like a new trend, sorry, I can't even speak. If you're trying to build a new habit, you should stack it on a habit that already exists and do it at the same time, right? So you already are doing this set activity. So now just add that to that activity or that same period of time where you do this thing every day and starting to get into that cycle, right? And starting to reinforce that you're going to be doing this. We can talk about journaling, or we can talk about, even just making your bed. It can be part of that, where it's like, when I'm doing this other thing that I do every day, multiple times a day, let me add something else where I look at my P&L, or I look at the trades that I've taken and I do a mini review. When I get up to go to the bathroom, when I come back to my seat, before I'm allowed to take another trade, I look at what I've done so far today, what's worked, what hasn't, right? Like when I get up to go grab water, I come back to my computer and I do a little just check-in with myself, right? Like you add that to an already existing thing that you're doing and you make it part of it. I think that that's a really easy implementation that you can do to like really change your life very quickly. Because trying to do too much at once and trying to like put it into uh make it a priority is super hard. That's like I think that's like chapter 3 or 4. I don't know. But that's an easy thing that you can start to implement like almost immediately. I don't know. People just want too much at first, right? Like they want instant gratification. I think something that they talk about a lot in that book that's good is just like you don't expect results when you go to the gym one time, right? It's a slow process that you need to work on to get to a goal, right? Like you don't go to on a treadmill once and then have abs. That's not how that works. It's a slow grind, and being able to kind of segment and understand that the only way that you're making real progress is by segmenting your goals and making them realistic, and that it's a journey, right, is going to be how you actually get sustained growth. And if you go in expecting that you're going to be a millionaire, right, or you're going to have abs after a week of going to the gym, like you're never going to make it, because you're putting way too much pressure on yourself and your expectations are way too high. But what happens if you work out, 3 times a week and you do that consistently? Well, all of a sudden you're going to start seeing results. But if you just think that you're going to lose 20 pounds going on a treadmill 1 time a month when you feel bad about yourself, you're not going to see any difference. I think one of the best things about that, at least for me when I read it for the first time a few years ago, was just the real world examples of professionals or sports teams. I mean, they go through so many real world examples in that book of what 1% changes look like, and bettering yourself 1%, striving to be 1% better every day, even a 0.5%, right? But those little things, how they add up to make huge exponential change. And for me, seeing real life examples and not just theoretical bullshit of this is how you change your life is really important for me to actually grasp it and be oh yeah, there's truth in this. I think the English cycling team is such a good example where they had zero trophies, right? 0 wins in any competitions, and then they came in and just did the most miniature, minute, changes, but lots of them, and they started to add up and really show a difference. And then 5 years later, they're winning everything. Oh, what's up, Julian? Sorry, I'm just ranting. Is this the double top? I think there's a lot of potential for us to do a larger pullback on the look above. We're just not seeing the buying pressure yet. I just don't know how long it's going to take. I'd like to see the Russell break out of value before I really double down on anything position-wise, but I think there's a lot of potential for us to rotate down. It's kind of my bias right now. But I got to see a break of these highs first, and then a shift from our buyers to sellers. Right now, we're just kind of caught in the middle of the chop area. And you don't want to be over leveraged before we actually see a shift. But yeah, going back to Atomic Habits, I highly recommend that you guys listen to a chapter a night, maybe. I don't think there's many chapters, maybe 10. I don't actually remember. But I know the book's 6 hours long, and it's the full thing's on YouTube, so just listen to it a chapter at a time. See if there's any connections that you can make. Anything feels oh yeah, that's me, or oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I can immediately implement that into my life. And it might not even be a trading focus. It might be something else that you're oh yeah, this is great for this other thing. It's all connected. You going outside and walking every day, you exercising, you eating healthier, and you're getting more sleep, it's all going to make your trading better. Everything is connected. You're going to struggle to trade if that's all you think about and you're slacking in other areas, right? New 15's opening now. Yeah, we're just waiting for tech to get with the program. Our first like major pivot is this 206 to 195, but if we make this resistance below 195, we should be able to trade down to 170, and then 170 should determine trend direction. Either that becomes our like big bounce point, or it'll rotate below, and then we'll start to hold that as like a major resistance. 170 is our 15-minute VWAP, that 170, 175. And where we saw buyers absorbing sellers on this initial push up, which is something I talked about when I first started to get online this morning. At 175 is key. Audiobook? Yeah, the audiobook's in full on YouTube. Let's see if buyers continue to just buy at this 206, 195, or if we see any sort of shift. You'd want to see sellers step in here at this 212 on NQ, hold previous day value high if we're going to show any sort of like real shift, or we're just going to rotate back up to 230 with no change in our range. It's really that simple.
Chevron shuts oil production at all Gulf of Mexico platforms. Just repeat, Chevron shuts in oil production at all Gulf of Mexico platforms.
Rotation again from our 206 spacing to our 230. Nice, good job. My head is burning up. Yeah, I've been sick for I don't know, 4 days, 5 days. Started to like really feel bad on Friday, and then I've just been in bed since. I just had bone broth, man. That's it. Yeah, I'll probably just do a half day today, and then we'll see how we're feeling later. Wanted to at least get on for a bit. Get me out of bed. Too much vaping? Yeah, surely. Mario and I both vape, but I don't think it gave me a fever. Another rejection of our 230, coming back down to our lows. Russell looks a lot more bearish this attempt from this action. Much smaller oscillation with us holding resistance. I'm hoping that it does something like this, right, with the bear flag. You still need to see the breakdown and then like that acceptance below, but this looks much better for the bear bias off of this rotation. Need to see NQ show that willingness to trade below that rotation down to 175, 170. Need to see that willingness to show acceptance below previous day value high as well. Or we're just going to continue to bounce here. But RTY giving us our first signs of a bearish move if we find acceptance below value here. Anyone know any like good ambient electronic like Tycho and Bonobo? Or like Emancipator? Like anyone that's like that? Like ambient electronic. No? Okay. Tycho it is. You don't know what I'm talking about? Well, it is what it is. Tycho is an artist. Ambient electronic is a genre. That does not seem like what I want. Something peaceful while I slowly melt, while my brain turns to mush. "15 seconds until new 15s. I'd love to see NQ break down here. Russell leading, coming back down to our lows, watching to see our reaction. But it did the thing so far, rejected our value, and is pushing down. Need to see how we react into our low. Want to see NQ show any sort of willingness to trade below our value. New 15's opening now. I would love to see that rotation into 170, 175. This is London close. Understand that. This is ES retesting our low of range, and Russell coming down into our double bottom potential. Need to see sell side show any sort of willingness below this, or we're just going to bounce again, which is going to be sad. Yeah, I know Emancipator. That's a good suggestion. Again, we want to see previous day value high be our resistance here on NQ if we're going to go lower. We've got our start of our downtrend. We are looking to see if this previous day value is going to hold as resistance or we're going to rotate back up to 230. It just is what it is. Good rejection of our previous day value high. It's your first risk off as we come back down into these lows. You want to either move your stop to break even or take a little profit off. You are trading off of this. No real change here until we see a break of the lows on NQ. There's our wick low test. Again, great area to take at least some of your profit. You are trading off a previous day value high rejection at R12s. Need to see a look below value and then a rotation down into 70, 75 for anything more. 70, 75 should determine what direction we want to go. Retesting our previous day of value. Keeping an eye on Russell as we approach value on our retest here. This is POC from previous candle. If sell side is going to be anywhere, it would be here off of the recovery of our previous day value. Now just back to POC on the day on NQ. Buy side needs to be able to show a very strong look over 25.35 for anything more, or just expect sellers to be sitting here again for another range rotation. Keeping an eye on Russell as we react into our value edge. So far rejecting. Want to see that break of our higher lows or that continuation down if we are going to continue down. Right, it's just bear flagging, but we need to see either a recovery of our value for rotation up or a push below this structure. Don't care which one happens, but one of them needs to ASAP. Buyers either hold 25s on NQ or we rotate back down to like 195, right? So there's not a ton here. Either we now hold this 25 edge as supportive and we start to push back up, or we lose this and then I just expect this to fully rotate back down into this low. So really important on this retest what happens. There's potential that we chop here for the next 3 minutes, waiting on this new 15 to see if we can close above previous POC at our 25s. We shall see, but there's high potential for that. Russell retesting our lows after rejecting our value edge. NQ retesting our 25s as offer now as resistance for that rotation down into our 195s if we're going to hold. 1 minute until new 15s. Just filling our LVN that we just created on NQ with this big up thrust. And Russell just back down to bottom of range. New 15s opening now.
Biden says an all-out war in the Middle East is possible, but there is also a possibility of settlement. Again, an interview on ABC.
Bro said it's a coin flip. Yeah, we're at the same place, but we have trapped buyers now at the highs, which is important. We can see where we need to breach. We've got this seller who's being absorbed here into the lows, our 195, and we have this buyer who is being absorbed into the highs. So we're watching to see which way we break and go from there. Until then, it's just a range between these two players. What we have going for us is RTY rejected a very clear pivot. And this absorption up at the highs is very clear. Failed to hold above POC on close of candle. And it's just rotating back down to bottom of range where the seller was getting absorbed. So still just waiting to see if we can breach below for this rotation into our 170, 175. Or if this is just going to rotate again. And these trades are good. You just can't expect $1,000 per contract until we break ranges and show acceleration. It's just rotations between very key, clear pivots. Take what's being offered, or don't, and just wait. It's up to you. But understand that, like, until we see that acceleration, you gotta take what's being given. Same as before, you want to see 12s go offer here on NQ if we're going to go lower. Or just expect a rotation again. This 12 is so important because it's previous day value high. Finding acceptance back inside yesterday's value is just going to give us our target of rotating down to previous day POC and then previous day value low, right? So as soon as we actually start to see that acceptance and then that break and hold of our lows with acceleration, we have targets below us. But it's just finding out if we can actually do it. He played off 12s. This is a great first risk off for 10 points. We look for a new low, and then a breach for ETH high for continuation down. Until then, it's just where we've been finding buyers over and over again, where this absorption is taking place into 195. Russell retesting our low here. This 31.7, where we bounced last time, watching to see our reaction here. I'm a bit afraid that we're just going to do another oscillation, or we just make this now our 35 to 31, right? We want to see this break and like actually show this as a new low instead of just oscillating between these 2 points. That'd be annoying. Good luck below. Let's see if we can hold it. Move stops down as we approach. We are at our 15-minute VWAP here. Was our target. We've slowly shifted up. Get a bit volatile here. Yeah, man. Peace. $50 until new 15s, coming back into our sell side here, watching our 195 to 206 to see if offer is going to be able to maintain or if we rotate back up. No real significant changes here on Russell, just rotating around our previous low, keeping an eye on this area. This is where we just have a lot of selling deltas that are trying to move value down. So far failing, but they are attempting. New 15's opening now. Regardless of which direction we go, I at least expect a retest of our value low on NQ. Just to either show that we want to hold as supportive, right? Or we're going to just make a new low and then look at this again as our resistance for a rotation down to previous day POC. There's not much here. Like either we build acceptance back above 12s again, right? Showing us that we want to hold above previous day value, or we rotate back down to our value low on the day and it lets us know how we react from here. Right, either this is now going to hold a supportive from a look below and sellers now called off sides who are trying to get in down here and not at any of our other pivots. But either we see acceptance back over previous day value high and make it supportive, or we need to rotate down to our value edge first and then we choose a direction from there. Either way, we should know relatively soon. Retesting POC here from previous candle, well as just our value edge, just like we talked about. Watching to see if buyers can maintain. It's a very important retest to let us know if we're going to be able to establish where these sellers were before is now where buyers are attempting. We want to see them hold here if we're going to go up. This going offer from a look below is just going to result in a rotation down to our full target, the previous day POC.
Sky News Arabia on X reporting, citing them one of their correspondents. Says Israel's PM Netanyahu gives the green light to discuss for the American side stopping attacks on Lebanon to give a chance for negotiations.
Our value edge test here on NQ. The good first short target if you did take a rotation down looking for that pullback. We're now looking to see if buyers can maintain here or not. Sell side wants to develop below our value edge. Buyers want to be able to push above our value edge and recover our ETH high. Watching for Russell to gain any sort of momentum here, understanding that RTY has been our leading indicator for every move so far today. This is our 175, 170 area. To me, this is a big pivot. Should determine which way we go, where we can build from here. I'm sure he'll link it when he's on. But he said he was going to be on relatively soon. I'll probably hop off when he gets on and just be done, go lay down. Does this man have a sideways picture? Not Tom, but the coach guy. Does that not bother everyone else? How did they allow that to go through? No one was like, let's just rotate this? They got me. A really important test here on NQ. Recovered our value low edge, and it's now trying to build above ETH high. We have 3 minutes and 30 seconds until this 15-minute candle ends, but we're desperately trying to be able to hold above POC from the previous candle. RTY sideways again, just chopping. I'm feeling a bit better, but I'm probably going to get off soon. My fever is really stepping up again. This action is not it. We push down to PT. Now it's just about figuring out which way we want to go. I like his glasses. Your first risk off into 12s. So far doing what we needed to do for upside reversal, which is just hold our value edge and then recover our ETH high, right? So now just trading back up to our previous day value high. Again, no more long opportunity until we start to see that acceptance above previous day value high, or we will just continue to rotate in yesterday's value. Target above, of course, if 12s can hold as supportive, is just coming back up to our 30, which has been our pivot for the last 2 hours.
Oil prices extending losses as Libya tensions ease. So the Libyan factions agree on an interim central bank chief.
Immediate rejection off our 12s, no change. Russell leading down, another rejection of our value.
So that's oil prices extending losses with Brent and WTI down by $2 a barrel.
A lot of potential for this reversal to have a bit of oomph to it. If we got our hold on our POC from previous candle, we are now trying to find acceptance over 12s. Other than that, not a lot, right? We know if 12s hold, we go to 30s. Russell still leading down. NQ diverging, but I don't mind this action that we're seeing on the 15 for a potential reversal starting on the higher time frame. Again, we traded down into my 170, 175 pivot, immediately found a buyer, and then have rotated up since then. Now it's just coming back into our previous auction. Yes, there's literally no trade. It's garbage. Good luck, right? Like, it is what it is. It's not going to be a great trade until we have confluence between NQ and RTY, right? Like, you're just not going to get a good trade. There's too many. There's a push and pull, right? They're going in opposite directions right now, RTY and NQ. And so because of that, you get this. 170, 175 was a key pivot. It was where we got our morning bounce as well, where I said watch for this level, where we get our reversal. That is still very clear where passive buyers are active. I'm really just keeping my eye on this 15-minute setup off the same level. We have 2 minutes until new 15s. 2:30 again, still our pivot above. We're just watching to see how these buyers react at these higher lows. We can see that there's someone trying to step in at 195. And I can move that to shift. $195. And now we have someone attempting at this 202. The reasons why I'm even considering a potential reversal is we have trap seller at the low into our target. We have price trying to find acceptance below above our previous POCs, and we have a recovery of our VWAP, right? But they were still just in the range that we were trading in before. We need to see acceptance, acceptance, acceptance. We have 40 seconds until new 15s. You can see what we're looking at here. We got this big old wick. We're now trying to build above our body of our previous candle, and we're trying to come up above 12s and find acceptance, and then rotation up to 33s, which is POC from our sell side. New 15s opening now. Another rejection of our 12s, back to our pivot tier. No change in our rotation. Just waiting. Russell still leading down. NQ balanced. ES balanced. Back to our value low here on NQ. It's your first risk off if you're trading off of 12s as resistance. Just a rotation down. That is all. The footprint chart? Yeah. We do. Nothing as short as you're going to want it to be. But we've done some classes on it. I can do a rundown right now, though, of what I'm looking at. Just like a quick one. Let me mute Tom, or just lower the volume a bit. So just to give you an idea of what we're looking at here, from there we go. So this is a 15-minute chart on NQ. The yellow block is POC per candle. So we're making a POC per 15-minute candle, and these are delta based. So we're just looking at the difference between the buyers, market buyers and market sellers, and those create blocks. And so when they're green, that is a surplus in market buyers compared to market sellers. There are more market sellers, you'll get a red block that says a negative reading. And we're watching for just to see how and where people are initiating price-wise per candle, right? So we can see how and where size is being put on a certain price level on a footprint chart. And this is a historical chart just showing us where people were initiating, right? And so the things that we are really paying attention for are where were sellers on previous candles, where were buyers on previous candles, what happened on our edges of our candles, and where is POC in relationship to our next candle. So to me, what I really am looking for are things like this. Like what happened here? What's this all about? This high where we made a wick high but immediately sold off, right? Like this area is very important to me because what is this telling me? Well, it's showing us that buyers attempted this area, right? But they were absorbed, right? So market buyers tried to push into this area, but passive sellers were sitting here absorbing all of these buyers that were attempting here. So what can we see if we look left? Well, we can see that there were sellers above, big old block of sellers above, and every attempt back into this area, we've seen market buyers get absorbed, right? Fail to push above and hold. And so every attempt so far, we've seen these sellers just come, these passive sellers step in and eat up these market buyers over and over and over again. So we know that this is an area of resistance. What we're looking for from this to create an actual trade is what happens off of that area, right? So this is our edge. So we have an edge here, and we're looking for sellers to either continue to be active and we can take a short off of this, or we can wait, right? So what I'm looking for is, are these sellers still active, and are we able to create any sort of trend from that area, or are we going to continue to range? I don't really want to touch this area if we're going to continue to range where we just chop, which was what we were doing, right? Just chopping back and forth. Because you know that you're not getting any extended movement. We know that we're just going to continue to kind of rotate in this range. But what we can do is look at this edge and be like, okay, well, I need to see buyers active above this area before I look for a continuation, right? A breakout. Because I know that they've been eaten or stuffed or absorbed, whatever word you want to use. And I know that we need to show an active buyer who can hold this as support before we can continue onward. So this just creates a very solid zone for me where I know that this is where sellers are absorbing and holding. What I'm looking for then off of this is where our POCs are located. And are we able to close above POC from the previous candle or below? And that usually gives me a good idea of who's in control. So if we know that sellers are in these highs and they're absorbing and price is closing below POC from the previous candle, then I know that sell side's pretty much in control here. Even though it's choppy, we know that sellers are holding us down, right? And so that's really all I'm keeping an eye on, is how we are reacting in our lows and our highs. Are buyers absorbing the sellers into the lows? Or are sellers absorbing the buyers into the highs? And do we have any sort of trend? If the POCs are stacked like this is usually a good sign that I don't want to touch this market because we're chopping and we have no directional decision. And that's really all I'm watching for on a simplified chart. We can go back to a previous day, and so I can show you what trend looks like. This looks like a good day. So this is what this is a good reversal. So we have a very strong trend down. We can see that POC from the previous candle is holding as resistance as we are pushing down. We can see that we have trapped buyers up at the highs. We have trapped buyers again who would try to push us over POC and fail. And then we get continuation down, continuation down, continuation down. We can see that happen over and over again in this pattern, where we have trapped buyers and then we get pushed down, where we're holding below POC, holding below POC, holding below POC. And this is where we start to shift, where we have a area where we had very, very strong buying liquidity before, and we've been pushed off of this area multiple times. So into this low, this is an area where I'm really paying attention to see if we're going to get a shift. We know what we're looking for in a selling trend down. We want to see buyers off sides, and we want to see us closing below POC. What happens when we have sellers off sides into the lows and we have a wick like this? What are we looking for a reversal? Well, we're looking to see if these sellers are going to remain offside and if we can close above POC for a reversal. That's our first signs of a potential shift. Do we see the shift happening where we have sellers offsides, we have a close and an open of our new candle above POC, right? We hold that. And then what do we see afterwards? Explosive bids start to step in. Look at all of these buying deltas, right? All these buying blocks. This is what we're looking for a reversal. We have actual secondary buyers now who are pushing price up. So we had sellers who got trapped in the lows. We had some more neutral price action as we built and tried to hold above POC. And now we're getting actual buyers stepping in on this candle and they create this huge push up, right? So now it's like, okay, well, what do we do from this information? Well, now we know that there's people who are offline, or not offline. There we have people who are offsides. We have active buyers, secondary buyers stepping in on this candle. And now we're holding above POC, which is the start of a trend up. So now we can look for pullbacks because we know that there's someone offsides, active buyers stepping in who are looking to push price. And now we are holding above and maintaining POCs as supportive on every candle up against that, right? Since then. Do we see that, D-Rock? So we're now holding POCs as supportive as we push up after we've identified offside sellers, POC hold, an active buying candle, and now we're holding higher lows. And we can see those higher lows in real time. We can see where we want to hold for continuation higher. So all we're doing is looking for these areas where we can see very clear reversals and then playing off of this information to give us pullbacks to then allow us into a trending trade, because they have the easiest confluence of like, oh, okay, we're going up, we have secondary buyers, someone's been caught off sides, it's meeting all of our criteria for an upswing. Things that we don't want to do is trade in this because we don't have clear directional bias yet. There's nothing here that's telling us like, oh yeah, we should trade this. It's two-sided, right? It's a range. But that's the stuff that we're looking for. So that's all I'm really looking for. There's a lot more to footprint, but those are the basics of like, oh, how do I know when I should be trading? Well, we want to see a break of these stacked POCs is what we call it, right? When these yellow boxes are all next to each other, candle to candle to candle. We want to see a strong move up and then a hold of our POC as supportive or a hold of it as resistant in the opposite trend. And then we want to then see a very clear directional change away from that area. And if we don't see that, then we should probably not be trading it because there isn't a clear participant who is pushing in a direction. And we should be expecting range trading or choppy trading until we see that setup occur. Does that make sense, or was that way too much information? So we've gone over this in a couple of our classes, and we'll probably do. Actually, there's a couple classes with me breaking down trades that I've actually taken on the day with footprint, and what we were looking for. But I basically just covered it. But at least it's recorded. But that's the basics of what I'm looking for is areas that we don't want to be trading in and areas where we do want to be looking for trades. So that's really it. And when we start, again, like when we have these stacked POCs like this is just stuff that you don't want to touch unless you are going into it knowing that you're going to be getting a range trade, right? Like it's just, you know that there's no solid trend yet. And so you have to accept, okay, well, these are where the buyers were and these were the sellers were last time. And I have to be taking profit into those areas. And we can see like, where did we bounce? Well, we bounced in this buying area, right? This is where we had a big upside candle before, and we're just coming back down into this low. And we saw a big wick up from that area, right? Again, remember this 175, 170 area is what I was looking for as a potential pivot. This area makes a lot of sense when I look and I look left and I see like, oh, okay, this is where we got to shift. We got to pull back to this area and then we immediately bid off of it. And we had a lot of buyers that were here previously. So I'm now watching this area on a pullback when we come back down to be like, hey, is that still an active area or not? And so far it is, right? We trapped some sellers again into this low and we were able to push off of it. Have we been able to establish a trend yet? No. Right? Can we go either way still? Yeah. But what we did get was an edge test into an area that we cared about. We thought we were going to be getting a pullback down into this 175, 170. It was achieved. Was it a rocky ride down? Yeah. But now we're just waiting to see if we can actually break out of this chop and establish either a very significant downtrend with POCs holding resistance and a buyer or a seller like showing their hand like they did here, or it's just going to continue to just do nothing, right? Like, yeah. Well, that's basically it. So I usually keep that chart up because I think it gives us really nice pullback levels and areas of interest to start to watch. That's all.
Putin says we see the emergence of new sources of military threats and risks for Russia and our allies. Putin proposes to include Belarus into their nuclear doctrine.
All right. How many times are we going to rotate from this area? Such a bad question. This dude is like cracked out on caffeine. Get me out of here. What's up, Ratio? Yeah, it was alright earlier. Slowed down quite a bit since EU. We're just right back to where I started this morning at this 70.75. Not much to say, sadly. .30 seconds until new 15s. Russell still leading down. Going to continue to use that as our gauge for weakness strength. Watching our lows. Got ADR down here. This is really target for me. Oops. As we push down into ADR in the day. Then we can start looking to see if we're going to get a continuation or not as we head down. See if buyers are still present here at this 170, 175. Or if we are going to reject and then go down to our 150s. Huge rotation down to Russell ADR into our big old pivot down here. Watching to see if ADR is going to hold or not. That's probably as much of a move as you're going to get today, to be honest. We'll see. But Russell ADR was a big one. Watching to see if we can build below that is going to be key to let us know if we're going to have more or not. Watch previous day POC here on NQ to see if it's going to be resistance. We want to see if this 170, 175 holds offer for continuation down, or if we're able to build back above. Yeah, I think that was good, Dubs. So far, this is just an immediate bounce off our 30-second opening range. 130 is our 30-second opening range low. 137, sorry, on NQ. And that goes up to 150. So just bounced immediately off of that. Yeah, correct this. 152. 130. Eight. Testing our 175 now, seeing if it's our offer. Good first risk off. Need to see if we can get back over value. That's the only thing that matters here. Immediate bounce off of our RTY ADR. Again, just using that as our momentum. Yeah, exactly. That's how you do it, Camille. Now we're just waiting for something to actually let us know which way we want to go. This 70, 75, again, really important to see if we're going to be able to hold below it now or if we're rotating back up to get back into our value. We've done the full oscillation on RTY down to ADR, so it's very important now to see if we're going to trend for the rest of the day below ADR or if we're going to stay in balance on the day, and this is the low. There's a good chance that this is potentially our low. I don't know if it's going to immediately do the move that you want, but as long as we're maintaining above our 30-second opening range, it's a good sign. That was a good test. Nothing has been cleared yet, right? We need to see us from this wick now show a sustained bid step in, or all it's going to do is squeeze. And we're going to retrace it, right? We need to see buyers actually show their hand. We have 9 minutes, 9.5 minutes left on this candle, sadly. So just looking for a higher low to develop and some sort of buying deltas that we can play off of. Again, keep an eye on RTY to see if we can break the downtrend and see any sort of shift in momentum. The Russell is our indicator if we're going to get weakness or not. If this finds a lower high and then continues down, right, we have to respect that we're going to go with that trend. We are looking for RTY to be able to hold a higher low and break this downtrend and start to actually push up for momentum to carry us. If this continues to just kind of hold these lower highs and we're just going to rotate down into this channel and come back down into this low, then there isn't a great long setup here for continuation. So watching to see where this loses steam. 75 still holding as our offer on NQ, no change there. Testing our value edge now. Good secondary PT. We are looking for us to be able to get back into value here. This is important. Can we make this edge supportive?
Hopefully you guys enjoyed my segment. Appreciate if you guys watched.
Yeah, it was good. They loved you.
I tried to talk about TFC and they just kept putting me back towards the algo. So I was like, all right, well, let's give the people what they want.
Yeah, I mean, it's good regardless.
Yeah, so yeah, we both ES and M2K were bangers. So hopefully if you guys followed, you made some money.
See if we can get this value edge to hold for a move back up to POC on NQ. Retesting now. Russell losing a bit of steam. Need to break the downtrend for more. Russell, no low yet. Need to see where we find this low before we can look for continuations or any sort of reversal potential. RTY is giving us the momentum, right? So we got to pay attention to that and respect where those highs and lows are coming in, or we can look for trades on NQ for continuation. No interest at our value low on NQ because Russell did not have any momentum, right? So just be very conscientious of that Russell is our leading factor here. 3 minutes until new 15s. Just watching to see which way we were able to establish. So far, we are below 70.75 on NQ, and RTY is still holding our downtrend. Need to see this find a low for upside potential on NQES, or the downtrend will continue. Good job, Dubs. New 15s opening now. This 164, we've got sellers attempting to push us below. They're being absorbed so far. Watching to see if buy side's able to hold here on the open of this new candle, or if we start to push below and then the offer holds that as resistance. It's really the only thing I see right now. RTY is still within our channel down, no change. I think if we lose this 164 and then go retest it as offer and we see that hold, then we have more downside, at least to our wick low in the 15. But if we can see bids be able to maintain here, we look for a push over 180 for anything upside wise, like continuation potential. Again, it's just, this is the only area that I see anyone really challenging. Offer holding so far. Coming up to retest now. Join the Discord. You can find the link here. Put it in chat. RTY coming back up to our highs. Buyers so far able to absorb at that 160. Now just waiting to see if we can get over this 180 for anything of importance to happen for buyers. Watching Russell as well. Again, there's not a ton here. Either we're able to break back into value on NQ and Russell is able to break downtrend for upside, or we're just going to continue downwards, slowly bleeding. Still diverging. No change on Russell in our downtrend. NQ just holding our value edge as our resistance. Not seeing the buyers that we need as of yet. Watching Russell as we come back down into our ADR low. Seeing if there's any sort of relief that can be put in there. 15 seconds until new 15s. I don't see anything all that actionable. We're trying to hold our value edge in NQ. Russell is battling with our ADR. Yes, garbage. Just absolutely garbage. Watching to see our reactions here. All we've done is retest into our 15-minute VWAP and reject so far. Need to see us build over 193 for that reversal confirmation. For the short term on NQ, we're watching 175 here to see if we can build above our previous POC from the candle before, as well as our value edge. We want to see buyers really be able to step in here and be able to lift us off. Understand that the Russell is leading down while this is happening. This 170, 175 is key for buyers to be able to hold us for a push back up. Yeah, sorry it's not the greatest day, but, you know, can't control the price action. Have a good rest of your day, man. There's another leg down on RTY off of our rejection of ADR and a big old push down. Good area to risk off if you are playing off of the Russell weakness. Again, we need to see price below like 130, 138 for any more downside on NQ. RTY is our leading factor. Until we can break that downtrend, I just would not trust any bullish reversal unless you're scalping. It is just not the day for it. Just like we talked about earlier, it's like if Russell and ES are leading down and NQ is the only limiting factor that's keeping us up, like any weakness on NQ with this Russell weakness is just, you're gonna get elevator downs during these. Yeah, this action is not great. Requires so much patience. We watch this 175 now, see if offer holds here. 170, 175. This doesn't fall until RTY finds another resistance, right? So we're just filling this poor structure. We're watching our ADRs offer, seeing if this base now holds as resistance for another leg down. Understand that like as soon as RTY gains momentum again, the short trade's off. You have to take some profit off until we see Russell then show weakness again. That is the pattern that we are in. Until that pattern stops working, right? Like that's your best edge that you have on today. We know that there's overall market weakness, so just like playing that and then just waiting for confluence is key. Just watch for where our pivot's going to be. If ADR holds its resistance, then we should get another leg down. If it goes supportive again, then there's probably no trade. We are not getting great trend, right? Like if we look at a 15-minute candle to 15-minute candle, it's very choppy. Watch ADR here on RTY. This is where we want to see if the offer is going to hold. Very important. We get upside action until RTY finds resistance. Later, sir. Sorry, I stepped away for a second. if you're shorting off of Russell ADR, this is your first risk off as we come back down into our lows here on NQ and RTY. Again, I can't say it enough. Russell is our indication of loss of momentum equals market continues down. You're getting little spikes of volatility, right, into key levels. But other than that, we just trade back up to our offer and then we continue onward. If this isn't your bread and butter, then I highly recommend that you dip. But like, as long as you're using as RTY as an oscillator, that is literally it for today. That's our wick low on RTY. See if we can break it and then hold it. Or if we bounce here for an oscillation back up to ADR again. This like method that we're using right now of just like using the overall market strength as an indication of which way we're going to go, right? Like the path of least resistance is key when we have choppy action like this, because unless we have buyers stepping in on NQ, right? We have strong tech that's carrying the market up. We have to just go with the flow of what the market's doing, right? We don't have that strong tech sector right now that can just carry the market up. We don't have Nvidia going 200% in a day carrying the market. And so with that, you have to respect what everything else is doing. And as soon as we lose those little pops on tech, we will go with trend. And you gotta recognize that until that shifts, right? And maybe it'll shift. Maybe the meta presentation's the key and the communication sector will lift us and meta goes up 50%, right? And all is saved. But until then, like, we know that we have stacked POCs on footprint. We know the trend is choppy. And so we have to use the one thing that is leading and is showing us clear price action, and that's RTY, you know? And if that's not like your trading strategy, again, like you just come back a different day when we actually do have trend, or just wait for it to actually occur. No big deal. Yeah, I'm still here, but I'm probably gonna head out soon. Just waiting to see if this breaks. Testing our 30-second opening range right now. Russell leading down below ADR. Our NQ into our 30-second opening range. Pretty big pivot here. Russell coming into our halfway back here. You are trading off of RTY into the low. Again, just this is where we expect a loss of momentum here, if anywhere. Halfway back, and then ADR above this. We watch to see how many oscillations we're going to do. Holding our low as of right now. Just watching to see where we go from here. Can we get back over ADR, or is this just going to chop, and then we'll start to get this slow bleed down again? I don't have the answer for you as of yet. I just know where the pivot is. Yeah, I just long the low with RTY. There's nothing really else to do. Maybe watch to see if sell side steps in here again. This is all I'm talking about when I say like I just trading RTY, but with NQ. Like the lows are just so much clearer. This is Russell on top. 15-second. This is NQ. So just playing, this is our 30-second opening range. This is the area that we're trading in. So waiting for that to show a bid off of our low, and then just rotating it back up, playing into our halfway back and then our ADR. So halfway back has to be my first risk off on Russell. ADR has to be my secondary. And that's literally all I'm saying. It's like there's nothing here until we see a loss of Russell momentum. We're just trading the RTY range, and then it's just a scalp. We have an area on NQ. We want buyers to hold this. I'm not bearish until we show the 30-second opening range as resistance, but that doesn't mean that there's a great entry, right? We still have to wait for the Russell to show where that bottoming is going to come in. So what do? We establish a range. We establish a high and a low. We look to see how we react into our high and our low. We trade that. That's literally it. Like that's all I'm doing based off of where we are on NQ. Is there a confluence between where we're finding a low on NQ and where we're finding a low on RTY? Potentially. Okay, now let's just trade it back up. Either sell side holds here and shows it as resistance, and we do the same thing we've done on every leg down, which is weakness below and then an offering and holding, or we're going to rotate. Right? Like, either you trust it or you don't. You put it on risk or you don't. And then that's that. Again, like if this isn't the trading that you want to do, then don't trade it. Wait for a better day. But like we have a very clear oscillator with Russell of where we have weakness and strength. As long as we're respecting that, it's tradable. And trade it until it doesn't work. Just NQ back to POC. Russell top of range here into our ADR, trying to make it supportive. I see no reason for us to continue unless we can make this Russell ADR supportive and POC here on NQ supportive. That just doesn't make sense to be looking for more unless we see like a very clear look above and then ability to hold on both of these. This is just where sell side is going to be sitting. So we're looking for flags to develop here. We have 2.5 minutes until new 15s. We're watching to see how we react here at NQ POC and Russell ADR. Can we hold above and bid? Does the bid fizzle out and then we just rotate again? 40 seconds until new 15s. I'd like to see something a bit more convincing from the Russell before we look for a secondary leg. New 15s opening now. ES into our value edge. Watching Russell for a retest of ADR is supportive. No bid as of yet. Keeping an eye on 185 on NQ as Russell comes back down into the halfway back. Again, we don't have a valid trade until I see RTY find that low. Our gray box, our halfway back, ideally is where that entry is going to be if ADR is not going to hold the supportive. Keeping an eye on 185 on NQ is our first look down. Just into our 15-minute VWAP as well as our value on that previous candle. If 185 doesn't find a bid as we approach, we're looking for a full retrace back down to our value edge on NQ. So keep that in mind that like it's gotta kind of find a bid here, right? We need to see Russell get back over ADR, or we're just gonna rotate through our range again. Right, it'll look something like this. And then we figure out what we do again from into this low. We want to see this hold and then look above and then take out that high. 10 points so far off of 185 on NQ. Still waiting on Russell for confirmation, but we did get our bounce at our halfway back. Need to see us be able to push over POC on NQ for anything more, or it's just going to be a simple rotation, just chop. But our 185 bid was there. Still keeping an eye on Russell here with this very strong rejection so far on ADR. Offers now sitting at 185, 190 on NQ, watching for Russell to see if it'll hold these lower highs off of the rejection of ADR. Need to see that loss of momentum and that continuation down for RTY. Again, we've got the offer sitting on NQ here at this 190 to 185. Fire is attempting to hold this edge at 170, 175. Just small little absorption so far. We lose that, we rotate back down to like 45 on NQ. Just waiting on Russell to figure out what it wants to do. So for this move, I'm watching Russell's reaction here into ADR for a lower high with the seller now holding. I'm watching our offer here on NQ. Any resistance, we're looking for a push below for a rotation down to 145 ideally. You shorted NQ off of Russell into ADR, first risk off here, new low on NQ off of this range, just into our 170. Watching a Russell to see if we can get below this halfway back or if there's going to be a higher low. I don't know as of yet. Haven't seen enough from either side to confirm. We have 20 seconds until the 15 minutes are coming out. Following pathing so far, though. RTY into our low, NQ into target. It is literally that simple, just playing off of Russell pivots. Like we played it up with RTY, we played it down with RTY, just waiting for that pivot and then adding to our shorts again once we saw that secondary move and then just playing it down. Stopped out of long break even here and then just short. Like it's just playing our pivot on RTY. Here, maybe this is easier to see. Break even, short, add to short, take profit, take profit. Just playing 30-second opening range as PT, and then Russell into our low. Like it doesn't need to be more complicated than that. Until we see someone like actually step in that wants to get us out of our range bound, slow grind down market, we just play the overall trend. I don't know how people trade with trade lines on. This is atrocious. All right, deleting this. Back to our pivot here on Russell. Watching to see if we can break down trend again. Or if this will hold as resistance. Our halfway back is our ADR as well. Same thing. That's probably it for me. Seems like I lost most of you, and it's just not great trading. And if you don't want to use the Russell strat, then I would recommend just skipping until we have solid trend. I mean, NQ is atrocious if you're not using the strategy. So, yeah, I'm probably gonna go lay down, and I will be back tomorrow. I really cannot stress enough though, like until we see solid bids start to step in on NQ and a break of this chop, you gotta rely on known pivots and known price action. It's key. Please go back and review some of these areas where RTY finds a signal low or a signal high and how we react on NQ. See if there's any confluence. See what happens with stack signals even. See what we're doing at these levels and why they're printing, and if there's anything that we can gauge for NQ trades based off of Russell signals. All right. Hopefully tomorrow's better. It's like the market was like, you missed Monday, so here's another Monday. You know how it feels.